Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us on today's episode of Conversations with Coach IT. Today's topic is quite an interesting one, but before I get into the topic, I just want you to know that it's a really, really full house, right? And I'm so excited about everyone that has joined us today, and I'm really grateful. Over the years that I've worked with teenagers, one recurring situation that I've come to discover that quite a number of teens face is that of the nature of their relationship with their parents. So today we're going to be having a conversation around dealing with difficult parents as young people. And who else to lead this conversation with, if not the legendary coach of coaches and a well-renowned teens coach and mentor, Auntie Chichi. So I'm going to read a brief bio about Auntie Chichi before we delve into the conversation. And trust me, this bio, I'm going to be compressing it as much as possible because she spent a whole lot of time and she's the coach to some of us that are now coaches today. Yeah. So Chinemema Umeseaka, fondly called Auntie Chichi by teenagers and young adults, is the foremost teenage coach in Nigeria. She's a coach to a lot of teen coaches and mentors in Africa through our masterclass training for teen mentors, coaches, and counselors. She's a 38-year-old wife and mother of 4 children. She's been married for 17 years. She's the founder of 19 Works, with the organization marking 11 years this 2022. The organization has reached out to lots of teenagers, young adults, parents, and families in various states in Nigeria, Ghana, Uganda, India, Togo, etc. Wow. She's a blogger, an advocate, a communicator, promoter of everything teenagers and young adults, well-balanced adult empowerment and personal development, good 21st century parenting, family values, mental health, and activist against rape, sexual harassment and violence, etc. Social work has given her an edge in this area. Chinemema Umeseaka is also into public service as special advisor to the Abia State Governor on teenage matters from 2017 till date. She's an on-air personality, TV show host, and independent producer. She produces a unique show for teenagers called Teens Time with Chichi on 92.3 Inspiration FM, Lagos and Uyo, which she started in 2014, Flow 94.9 FM, Vision Africa Radio, and Love FM in Abia State. And we'll still start off in People's FM Bayelsa from July 2021. Wow. 19 Works through Chichi has been in partnership with the Ministry of Education, Lagos State, Abia State since 2013, and Abia State since 2013. She has access to over 3,000 junior and senior secondary school students under the 6 education districts in Lagos, with over 20,000 students, where they train, coach, actively advocate for and against rape, sexual harassment, sexual violence, etc. She owns a female football club called 19 Damsels FC, and they recently qualified to championship at the Nigerian Women Football League, NWFL. This is an avenue to promote grassroots female footballers looking for opportunities to express themselves through sports. She founded Society for Teens Development, an NGO, and co-founded another called 19 Youth Foundation. You can listen to her on radio every Saturday at 10 a.m. on 92.3 Inspiration FM, IFM Uyo at 9:30 a.m. every Saturday, and watch her on AIT International every Thursday at 4:30 p.m. My goodness. And Chichi, I actually had to compress that, and I'm sure you're aware, but that is so good. Thank you so much for joining us today. And like I said, it's a full house. We have other team coaches in the house, right? Courtesy Auntie Chichi. She went, so we fondly call her Auntie Chichi. Like I said, she's the coach of coaches, right? So she's all our coaches. And we have Mr. Abraham here, Mr. AGK, Mr. Falodu, Mr. Pressure. We have a lot of people in the house this afternoon. But I'll be leading this conversation with Auntie Chichi. It's so good to have you here, Ma. Thank you so much for joining us. And
thank you for having me.
To also thank you for what you're doing in the coaching and teenage development space. Such a phenomenal work, and some of us are learning closely. So thank you so much.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
today, on the topic of dealing with difficult parents as young people, would you like to share what some of your experiences around the subject matter has been in the course of working with teenagers and young people generally?
Yes, absolutely. First, let me say a big thank you for considering me to be part of this talk. Parenting
Thank
is
you.
something that I am hugely involved in. And also parenting, when I have teenagers, if I don't have the consent of their parents, I'm a bit taken aback working with them, especially the ones that are with their parents. If they are not with their parents, then it's understandable. But if they're living with their parents, I need their parents to understand that I'm in their lives. I'm not there, I'm not like a demon to possess your kids without your permission. Yes. That I always say that,
Mm,
I need your permission to be able to work with your child and need you to also help assess my work to make sure that, what I'm doing is making sense.
mm,
But permit me to first of all thank the squad. I'm glad I'm not going to do this alone. I have a lot of people who, in spite of their busy schedules, can just make a few minutes and let them come and share their own experience. I want to make our time to thank everyone that left whatever they are doing. We, acknowledge that you are very busy, but you left your work to join us, Mr. Abraham, educate Ejike on duty. That's what I love to call him. I'm trying to find the other people. Promise, my darling, thank you for being here. Precious sweetheart, thank you for being here. You all are amazing. Thank you so much. I can see other people telling me they are coming. So get ready, Coach Ituno, get ready to have full support. The more area, that's where I work. I love when we have full force, full people with more experiences, we can get the work done. So back to the question. Yes, I have had a lot of experiences. Sometimes it's frustrating. Let me start with the one that happened recently, of which I posted on our group and the team mentors and coaches group of the girl that was pregnant. She was impregnated by her uncles. Her uncle, so she was raped twice by her uncles. And the last one that happened, she became pregnant. And this girl is a sickle cell patient. She's a sickle cell warrior. I like to call them warrior. Long story short, I got a call from her school. I won't mention the school, somewhere in the east, and they asked me that this girl, her blood was 15% and she was dying. And she refused to be moved to emergency ward, and she kept mentioning Auntie Chichi, Auntie Chichi. And she stopped them from calling her parents. I was in Lagos that time, and I posted, I wanted some of us that were in that city to help me go. And long story short again, when I eventually spoke to her and said, please accompany them to hospital, please let them start administering, give you the medical attention that you need and all that. And then she agreed and she refused for me to send anybody. She really wanted me to come. So I flew down to the States and went to the hospital. But I insist, I told her, if you want me to do this for you, I also want one of your parents to be involved.
parents. Mm,
Because if anything happens, I cannot sign up for this. If you die now, I can't sign anything. I mean, it won't be fair to your parents for that to happen. So just allow us call either your father or your mother. Who do you think can handle this?
mm,
She eventually agreed. We called the mom, and the mom came. That's where the torture for me started. And I went to one of us, Barrister Favor, on our group. She accompanied me, and we went and we saw this girl. The story is too long. I want to cut it. But where for me I felt like I was tortured was the mother needed to know the people that did this to the daughter. They are her brothers. And this woman
mm,
refused. She heard the first one, not the one that impregnated her, the one that did the first time. And then she refused to hear the second person who actually owns the baby. And the girl was saying, as a teacher, I need to let this baby go. I can't bear this. I mean, and also it was a 50-50 chance that she was gonna survive. I mean, even the sickle cell warriors, they plan their pregnancy. I mean, the ones that are already married, they plan
mm,
their pregnancy because they are constantly in and out of the hospital.
mm.
This girl was in final year, she had to defer her admission and all that. She was in hell. She was practically going through a lot. And I kept, and the woman also came, was torturing this girl, calling her names, you're a prostitute, like this. That was why I wanted her to know the people that did this. You know, till today, the woman doesn't know. She refused to know. She said she doesn't want to do that. I said, you can handle it. You handle the first one. You can handle it. We didn't even end there. She said, don't go out. I mean, that's my work in my state. They are from my state. I was going to prosecute this because they did it in my state. They raped her in my state when she came to visit them. So I was going to travel back to my state and start off open a case for them. I already invited the first one. You were the second one. And the woman said, no, don't do anything. Leave it. I don't want, because if you do that, the name of the family will go out. If up to now the father does not know. Why am I saying this? It's difficult to help, in our work. I couldn't do much. I ended at some point. I stopped taking the woman's call because I felt like, you are torturing me. You don't want me to help you. You want me to be here, but you are tying my both hands. My two hands are tied. I can't do much. I can't do anything. I can't help your daughter. And they were also expecting me to help them raise money. And I'm saying, the people that impregnated this girl, they are there. Their wives are doctors, both of them. They took advantage of your daughter. So it's not that they are just like some street people. These are responsible men working, have money. And then you want me to go back to the government and say, please raise money for someone. The people that took advantage of her are alive, well, working, doing okay for themselves, whatever. And then, so cases like this, you realize that it's so difficult to try to help teenagers. Even in trying to help her heal, there were comments her mother will make that the girl will call me and be crying, and the mother was even blaming her, saying that she was the one that seduced her brothers, all those kind of conversations. So I want to end it here because I have too many other stories that I can tell and, won't leave today. But working with parents can be very difficult.
Wow. Oh, I mean, I know a bit of that story. You shared it on group, and we also it and well touched. But to this extent, what?
Yes, I couldn't continue. I couldn't share the remaining because I mean, everyone knows this part. And she told me she was gonna come in, but I don't know if but she knows this part. She knows how broken I was. At some point, I cut off from them. If I have not spoken to the mother since that time, because I told her, I said, you have no idea what you're doing to your daughter. These people would come back to her life. You don't want to know them. You still want them to be your brothers. You travel to the village with your kids.
And the children are still around them.
They're still around them. So anything can happen if you don't. And I also told her it's not about the child. You don't know, for him to do it to a relative, you don't have an idea, other kids, other people's children. So I mean, I told her, I said, if I didn't tell my own story, nobody will know me. I won't be able to help your daughter. What makes me and Chichi today is the story, is my struggle, the pain I went through, being molested, being taken advantage of, and I spoke up. And I'm using my experiences to help other people. That's what life is about. And I told her, I said, your daughter can use her own pain to stop these men from taking advantage of other people, other innocent kids. So, but they refused. And then you can't, I mean, they are adults. There's a limit to what the kind of help
you can push.
Yes.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for sharing that, Auntie Chichi. I mean, it's so deep and touching. Thanks a lot. So before we even proceed, let's quickly clarify, the term difficult parents and what young people typically refer to as difficult parenting. I mean, we work with many young people and some of them have different experiences and different explanations to what they mean by difficult parents. When you hear the experiences, there's the possibility of being different in many cases, and this person thinks this is the reason why I think my parent is difficult, another person thinks no, this is another reason why I think my parent is difficult. So let's just clarify that part. What would you say being a difficult parent really means?
Yes, I agree with you. Teenagers, they're crazy, so their own term of difficult parents will just be something totally different from our own. But I would want to say that difficult parents are people who are unrealistic with the recent reality. I always tell parents the hand you will use in parenting your child today can never be what your parents used for you years back. A lot of things are changing. So many things are evolving. In fact, as a matter of fact, this is 2022. This is a new decade that has started. So what happened in 21st century cannot, I mean, a lot of things are even evolving in 22nd century. We're in 22nd century. So what happened in what happened in 19th century, 20th century, 21st century cannot work in this 22nd century. So you need to upgrade yourself. If you are not willing to upgrade yourself, then you are going to be very difficult. You won't be able to relate with your kids. And I'm not telling parents to adjust to the Western culture. No, very far from it. But modernize some of the terms, some of the things that a lot, that were being practiced. There are, we have different styles of parenting. We have the democratic, we have the autocratic, we have, pessimistic and all that. They are different, and you can upgrade any pattern you want to use. Make sure that is in line with what is obtainable now. So difficult parents are people that are just unrealistic. You don't want to realize that this century is different from where you are coming from. So that's in a nutshell.
In a nutshell, that's what it is, right? And I mean, for the many experiences that teenagers have and young people have, reasons why they think their parents are difficult, often they're able to fit it into this explanation that you've given, not seeing from the perspective of this new generation. There is a need for some adjustments and just, you said a whole lot already. Let me not go back into it again. So what would you say are common challenges, right? What would you say are common challenges in fostering a cordial relationship between parents and an average teenager? And how would you say a teen can deal with this?
Common, challenge that I've seen. Let me mention one major common challenge is when parents don't tend to see things from their children's perspective. Yes, our children can be crazy. They just want to follow trend. They want to live in the moment now. But if you also step back and pay attention to their needs, you can actually get them to adjust, to dance to your own tone. So most times parents and their children are at loggerheads because nobody wants to bend. Nobody wants to compromise in their own town. Yes, you feel like I can't change for you. This person is saying I cannot, then I cannot change. And they are loggerheads and they're always quarreling. But it's just listening to these children and even listening to their body language. There are so many, things. I mean, for this girl that I mentioned her case, I remember, she was raped when she was much younger as a teenager. She never mentioned to her mom, never mentioned to her family. When the uncle did it last year, 2 uncles did it in 1 year. She never mentioned to her mom. But the interesting part was when the first one happened, I told her, can you try and talk to your mom? And she said, she tried to start off the conversation and said, Mom, if somebody is raped by someone, she just asked her, what? And she said, the mother just started, it's her fault. All these girls of today, they are very useless. That was when she shut down. She didn't open. So most times parents are quick to respond to their children, but you don't sit back and ask what is going through their mind. Why are they asking these questions? Let me tell parents, our children are very curious. This generation, they are very curious.
Yes,
so most times my daughter, who is going to be 8 this year, I will say something to her. She will ask me why. So I have learned
the Y generation.
The Y generation. So I remember the brothers were doing that at her age. So at that age, they want to know why. It is for you to be patient enough to explain why you don't want them to do what you said don't do. Don't be quick to say, shut up because I've said so, get out. They will go behind you and do what they want to do and come back to you and live a double life. Double life. But if try and reason with them and say, okay, I don't want you to do this because of this, because of this. The moment you have that, you are negotiating with, you have that level of understanding, the loggerheads will reduce. Yes, teenagers, they have their moments. Sometimes they are up, the next minute they are down, mood swings and all that. That's what comes with puberty. But just see things from their perspective and discipline yourself as a parent. So this is where I always tell parents, it's not about the child. There are things my son will want to do or my children will want to do, and I will say no. And by the time I explain it deeper for them, they will say, okay, now I understand why you don't, and I won't. And it will make sense. Like they want to be on social. You're not going to be on social media. They don't
Not a
have.
tussle. Doesn't create
Yes,
a back and
exactly. I
forth.
took that exactly. I told them I'm not going to give you a SIM card. You want to reach me, send me an email. They have an email in there, so they send mails because I know what I'm trying to prevent. I don't want you to be on Instagram. I don't want you to be on Facebook. I know why I'm protecting you from this. Other kids, I mean, my son is going to be 14 this year. I had to explain to him why, and he understood. So he has a hangout group where he, when he wants to chat with his classmates, fine. Those group are like an enclosed group, protected. But once you leave them to the madness in the world, you won't be able to control the things they are seeing. You won't be able to, but it was me trying to explain because he felt like I'm missing something. You don't want me to say no. I had to sit down and
And
explain things to. So
explain.
if parents will make out time to explain things to their children, also listen to them, allow them talk. When they finish talking, then you explain your point. There won't be loggerheads. So I think that's the major challenge.
So let me quickly ask a question, and okay, before I even go into the question, I'd like to encourage the team on this call that it's okay. You can share your experiences with us, please. If you like
Yes,
if you like to unmute and share your experience, please, you can just use the hand raising emoji or drop it in the chat box, and we will definitely read it out. What has your experience been with teenagers? And if there's a teen on this call, so please put out your experience out there. What has your experience been? Have you encountered a difficult parent before? Do you know somebody who has? Please, we would like to also hear from you, right? And Chichi, I mean, for some parents who might listen to this podcast, they might be wondering, I mean, amidst all the hustles and bustles, having to go to work and all the pressure and all of that, and I've heard some parents say, where do I have the time? Like and you said it that there's nothing like in our own days again, because things have evolved, right? Things have changed. But for parents that might be saying all these things that you're asking us to do and all that, where's the time? Like amidst all the pressure and the hustling and bustling and all of that, what would you say to them?
When I hear people talk about time, I'm like, are you kidding me? These are your legacies. These are I mean, I am very busy. In fact, I practically don't even live with my kids. So sometimes I spend 2 weeks in Lagos, 2 weeks in another state. And it's crazy. But one thing I don't go about telling myself is I don't have the time to engage my children. Who am I making all the time for? They are the thing that I would finish working and I will come back. If they're giving me headache, then there's no rest for you. So I tell parents, don't lie to yourself and say your work is your priority. The day you retire, you will never get that time to rest, because from that moment, it's either you are going to rehab house because your children are doing drugs because you neglected them, or you are going to the police prison to go and be checking on them because they will get in trouble and be locked up. You choose one. Choose in that time. How many minutes will it take you to call them on the phone and talk to them in between work? How many? I mean, some of us we have friends, we hang out. Saturday they go for Owambe. You want to, be in all the activities in church, and you neglect your children. Are you kidding me? So for me, whatever time it will take, I will make out time to invest in my children. They are my legacies. That's what I tell myself. They are my legacies, and whatever it will take. So I teach parents this. There's something called quality time and quantity time. If you cannot give your children quantity time, give them quality time. And most times they prefer quality time. Even as teenagers, they don't want you to bug them. They need their own space. But the time you get to spend with them, let it be quality. Drop your phone, look into their eyes, talk with them, listen to them. Our children know when we are talking with them and we are pressing for. They know you are not listening to them. They know you are hearing them. Hearing is different from listening.
Listening,
so
true.
they know you are not listening to them, but you are hearing what they are saying, what they are echoing. It's not entering your head. So my children do that a lot. They will say, okay, when you are free, we'll come back. They see me, I'm on the phone, and they are talking to me. They say, Mom, when you are free, we'll come back. They will walk away. And I'll say, okay, I'm sorry. I'll drop the phone. So they know when you're giving them quality time and when you are not. So it's not about the quantity, it's about the quality time that you are spending with them. Go out, hang out with them, go out, listen to them, do things with them. This year, my first son said, Mom, I want to get serious with my modeling job. Please help me, think about it and put it. And the day he spoke about it, I told him, go and pray. Interestingly, he actually prayed and said, I gave God. So this is part of training for me. I said, he told God, I want my first job to come on the 16th of January. I said, nah, you are very bold. And interestingly, the job came and they told me to bring him on the 16th of this January. That's on Sunday. Exactly. So for me, if I can do that for him, there's nothing, if I ask him to do anything, he will listen to me. That's parenting. He told, because I told them, go and do, I want to see your New Year resolution, your goals and whatever for you. This was in 2021. I told them, I want to see, go and write it, your goals, your vision, everything. They finished writing it. During crossover, I told them, present it to God. That's parenting. I mean, these few minutes I'm spending with them, and now they are seeing results. There's nothing you will tell this child that they will not listen. If you tell them, okay, I'm going to allow you to pursue your dream, but make sure that you do well academically, they will listen to you because they know you are giving them quality time. I'm going to spend that part of him going to do his modeling job on the 16th. I'm going to spend it with him. We drive to the place. We are talking. It's part of the time I'm giving him.
So quality time over quantity over quantity, really, because I mean, like you said, teenagers also want their space, right? And they just just the quality of the time that you spend with them many times makes the difference. Thank you so much, Auntie Chichi. I saw somebody raising his hand, but I think he has dropped off the call now. But we have comments in the chat box, and I'll just quickly read that out. Difficult parents are those that have refused change. Well, those that insist on raising their teens the way they were raised. It has resulted to rebellious teens. True. Those that insist on raising their teens the way they were raised. And I mean, Auntie Chichi has spoken to this already, about people who insist that this is the way I've been raised and this is the way I'll raise my children. Things have changed. And I mean, the generations have evolved. So, Auntie Chichi, let's quickly take a look at the cases of, parental control, parental support, and then parental guidance. What are practical examples of, what each of these terms look like as a parent? And at what points would a parent need to exercise any of them in raising their children? Parental control, parental support, parental guidance.
Okay. Parental control is where there's no struggle. You and your child understands his place. You understand your place. So let me still use my first son as example, because you talked about practical examples. So when he told me, I want to do modeling. I mean, he mentioned it partly last year. And for me, I told him that environment, that industry is a bit messed up. There are too many things I don't know if you can control there. But I don't want to, I've told God, I know when I was giving birth to him, in fact, what I did was to always ask God their destinies. So I have a clue where they are heading. And God told me, specifically him, was going to be a global figure. So that's why I'm also positioning him to learn languages. So he speaks French. So I told, for me not to control, because I understand my place as a parent. It's more like someone having a garden. God has placed you there to tender the garden, to water it. So when understanding that God has told you this boy is going to be a global figure. So apparently it may not be only basketball that he wants to play. It may not be the only thing. It could also be through modeling. And I prayed about it. I had peace in my spirit. So me controlling that environment is to sit down with him and say, this environment is messed up. There are too many things there, the gay people and the this. So you need to understand who you are first before you start entering into that. So that's where the control is. Let the children understand what is obtainable in whatever they tell you. You are not trying to control them, in terms of saying, no, I will not, a lot of this control is a bit dicey, because most times parents try to control things and they want to be in charge. It's either my way or the highway. But if you understand control from God's angle, to say, God has put these children under your custody for you to tender them, to grow them. You are the gardener. They are his garden. They are God's garden. You are the gardener. Just, go back to God and say, as a manufacturer, is this what you want for this boy? If the answer is yes, then make sure that you guard him. You protect him in such a way that he understands what is, you speak with them, let him understand values, the family value, remind him of the family by remind him of so many things, and then equip him. For me, that's control. So I equipped him and said, okay, you're going to, I got you this job. That's also control. Helping him. That's also where the support, the second point comes in. Supporting our children is very important. I've seen a lot of teenagers reach out to me and reach out to other people who, may be very dangerous to them because they lack support at home. So they want to do something, they want to go into more, they want to go into acting, they want to go into this, and their parents are not allowing them. I have the ones that want to do, I own a club, and I have girls that are playing for me. They don't have the support of their parents. And separately, I'll call their parents to say, this girl, you don't know if this is where she would liberate your family. Give her just little support. And there are a lot of parents who say, no, I don't want this. They are your children, quite all right, but God has placed them in your custody for you to make sure they live their life to the full. They live their life to the maximum. If you want to be in control in the negative angle, you will stifle, you would suppress their expression, you will suppress them and they will not live food, the way God wants them to live. So you control them by making sure that any environment they're in, they understand what is obtainable there and they are prepared. But the support part is whatever you can even do to make sure you find, like me getting some of this job, with the pictures he's going to take on Sunday, I'm going to use it to look for more jobs, more opportunities for him. That's the support I can give him. I'm exposing him. I'm telling him, okay, I have a radio program. You must be joining me. Not must. Are you willing to do it to a teenager? And he says, okay, yes, I want to do it. That's part of why he got that job, because he's doing radio. They wanted someone on my team. And I said, okay, see, it's because you are doing this, you are volunteering. So it's me supporting him and managing the situation. Then the guidance is where you have to guide them and put measures that will help you to keep guiding them. Let me talk about the guidance part from the aspect of social media. Most parents give their children smartphones and you don't control what they do. You are letting them in a very, even me, on social media, even adults. Adults, they also need guidance because most times we lose control. You get carried away, and before you even realize what is going on, you have really messed up. You have gone far. So guidance, put things in place. My children all of them have, laptops, gadgets, but they know that if they enter any site, if I like, let me be in Kapanchan or in another country, I will see it. Wow. I remember some years, yes, because I've put there are apps. I will see it. My husband will see it. A lot of their things are connected to the apps that we set up. It's a control app. So they know they can never get into pornography. They know they can never get into anything they are not allowed for them. And I always have that conversation with them because I tell them, you see, once seen, you cannot unsee what you have seen. So you need to be careful of what you are exposing yourself. You need to put measures in place. There are apps that you have to go out and look out for. I remember telling this to my uncle some years back. His, boys, he has, two boys. And I told them, these are teenagers. Then my children were not even up to teenagers. I said, Uncle, you're always traveling. He was working with Shell. So he's always on shore and all that, working with an oil servicing company. So I said, put things in place. Your wife is not social media savvy. You are. So he said, okay. And then I gave him an app that time. I can't remember that app because a lot has come out. And he put it. And one day he called. I was with my cousin, who is his first son. He called him. He said, quickly go and check. We were in the house. He said, quickly go and check. Go to your brother's room and check what is. That he's busy promising a girl marriage.
Oh my goodness.
That he loves her, that he's going to marry her, this, that. He was just 15.
I will never forget. Oh my God.
So my cousin said, how did you know? And he said, Chidamema is in the house. He said, yes. So she asked her, she will tell you. And he just entered, immediately entered the room. The boy closed the, it's a laptop, this desktop. So he closed that thing. So he asked me to get the boy out. So I called the boy that he should come and follow me to get me something in the kitchen. So as I took him out, he went and went to there's a way you would check the previous whatever.
Mm,
I saw it. And then so he had to tell his brother, your father is seeing what you are here talking, this nonsense
mm,
you are here. It was very interesting. It was very funny. And I told them not to embarrass him, but let them use that opportunity to talk to him to understand, that there's time for everything. At 15, you can't promise. I mean, this is puppy love. Anything can happen, and blah blah blah. So they were able to use that to they didn't. I didn't allow them to scold him. So that's another point. When
mm,
parents realize what their kids are doing in secret, are
mm,
you ready to control yourself in such a way that you will handle it very well? Because the way you handle it a lot matters if they are going to shut down on you or they are going to open up. They are going to
mm,
be free with you. I remember, I mean, my son told me on radio, he said it on radio last year, when we were talking about, so I asked him, I put him on the spot. I said, have you ever thought about having a relationship, having a girlfriend? He said, yes, he thought about it as he turned 13. And also because I was always traveling,
You heard it for the
so
first time on radio.
yeah, on radio, and I wasn't shocked because I've learned not to look shocked. Whatever I hear, I
Mm,
just feel like, yeah, whatever. So I was not shocked, but he said, when he realized that he also sees that we always pay attention to the girl child,
mm,
but that the boys they have emotional needs, and because I was always traveling, he needed a girl he can be talking to. But
oh,
he now remembered that I will not be happy, and I have a lot of trust on him. His father will not be happy. That was
mm,
what made him not to get into a relationship. But he has thought about it, and I was glad. So I was able to handle that. If I looked shocked and we left there and I started shouting and screaming on him, I said, "Are you crazy?" No, I never mentioned that. I've never talked about it because he said it and he also told me how he has handled it. And it made me to say, this year, I'm going to pay attention more, especially my three sons. I have three sons. So him on making me understand that boys have emotional needs. I shouldn't take it for granted. So that's I think I don't know if I'm able to,
and
make
Chichi,
justice.
talking about
The person.
boys and emotional needs and in difficult, it just reminds me of one of the teenagers that I work with. In fact, he was supposed to be on this call today, but we couldn't reach him because his phone has been seized because he bashed his dad's car and all of that. But where I'm even going to
Wow.
is, so I used to work with him in while he was still in secondary school. He's now out of secondary school, so I started working with him when he was in secondary school. And he approached me. I just it was gloomy and all of those things. One of those days, and he just approached me, and I was like, "Hey, what's the problem?" and all of that, and we got talking. And I got to realize, so he came from the angle of, oh, he feels unwanted. He feels like, he's the second child and he feels like his parents don't really care about him. And he's trying his best. He doesn't know what exactly they want and all of that, but they just find a problem with everything that he does. Now, this is somebody that was in school. At that time, he was in SS3 already preparing for his WAEC, but he was so gloomy and all. You would see that his mind was not in anything. Like, he was sad. You could see the sadness on his face. And I just got talking to him, trying to encourage him and all of those things. He said quite a lot of things. Now, the one of the parts that pains me really was on their graduation day. I was there, I mean, to support my teenagers that are, getting out of secondary school and all of that. None of his parents were there. And of course, the other friends and everybody, they had their parents, everybody, the partying and the food. And he just stood in a corner.
Wow.
And I had to encourage him to say, see, we are here for you. Some of the friends, I also got some of the friends, and we all went to him saying, we're here for you. What do you want? And just to encourage him and make him smile.
Yeah. Yeah.
But what has happened within him has happened,
Of
despite
course.
all the
Of course.
encouragement and everything. So there's just issues back and forth like this between parents. And the question I want to ask, and I like that you've also, balanced the point where you said that there's the positive part to parental control and the negative side to parental control. But with this boy story, the question I want to ask you next is, are there consequences or impact of difficult parenting on young people, on teenagers?
Huge consequences, huge. That's where rebellion comes in. When I see children that are rebellious, I tell parents that this child is trying to communicate to you.
Hmm.
There's an undertone. There's an undertone in that rebellion. No child wakes up and say, I'm gonna rebel, like to hell with you, blah, blah, blah. No child. There's something that is, a message they are trying to pass across, but you're not listening. So it comes in the form of rebellion. So when I see a child rebelling, all I'm asking is what I'm ready to listen to you. What do you want us, what do you want to say? Before I continue, Coach Precious is here. I think she's been going up and on, and she was the one raising her hand. Can we allow her to talk before?
Thank you, Auntie Chichi. Thank you. Okay, so Coach Precious, it would be nice to hear from you now. Do you just want to briefly share your experience with coaching teenagers and what you've heard them say about difficult parenting?
All right. Personally, it's been a good journey. You see the good, the bad, the ugly. You have situations where you're working with teenagers and you're all excited. You're happy about their growth, the process, how they're going from stage one to are frustrated because it's little or no results. So I had this teen who is the first daughter. She's in school and doing her first degree, very young. I think she entered school at 15, but the parents are very religious, so religious that they believe the moment the girl went into school that she started misbehaving, so that they kept putting all the negative words in front of her in their mind or in their thinking. They would That's the only way to save the girl, to even go ahead to blame her for things she has not done, query her for things she has not done so that she will not do them. And those things were getting to the girl. In fact, she's in HND. She just finished her ND and flogged her. I mean, a full-fledged teenager flogged her to the point of giving her marks on her body. And she went back to school with the marks. And her friends were asking her what happened to you, and she lied to them that she had an accident. It was so bad that this girl, uh, there is no really support from home. The parents are not giving her the love that she needs to thrive, to survive out there, because she's very young. She entered school very young, so that she was facing a lot of challenges from people that were older than her. She faced bully. She also faced pressure from people that wanted to talk her into bad lifestyle. So eventually the situation got so bad. In fact, I was working with her, and after a while I kind of lost connection with her. And the next time I was hearing from her, she was telling me that she had lost her virginity. And what happened? She came back from school and her mom shouted on her. She has changed, how she's now picks up phone. She would be screaming with guys. But told her the last time she came back that she doesn't blame her, that she has started saying penis. Okay, and which led the girl, when she went back to school, she now said, "Oh, this time I'm going to see the penis." I mean, I don't know what else transpired, but when I was asking her what led her to do that kind of thing, because eventually she started dating this guy on August last year, and then by October, she lost her virginity to the guy. The short of the long story is just that the mother didn't help matters. She kept putting the girl in the corner that made her take the wrong step. So many parents have little or no knowledge when it comes to raising teenagers, because teenagers are different set of people. I mean, you need to understand them to help them. You need to understand them to work with them. So, but when parents don't, they go ahead to do the very opposite thing that will help the children, and thereby destroying the chance of having great kids.
Thank you so much, Coach Precious, for sharing that experience. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you so much.
So,
Yeah.
Auntie Chichi, in
Yeah.
rounding up today's conversation, right? For young people who feel that they have difficult parents and they're in that mix, what would your advice and counsel be to them? How can they deal with this situation?
So I always tell teenagers, be smart. Even the Bible said that. Be smart be wise as a serpent. So I tell them, be wise. For the fact that your parents are not seeing things from your own perspective, do not disrespect them. Understand that they are the ones footing your bills. They are the ones feeding you. They are the ones paying your fees. They are the ones taking care of you. So be wise. Respect their opinion. You see this freedom you're looking for. I always tell them, you will have it and you will get tired. Even us that are adults, at some point you want someone to monitor you. You want someone to checkmate you. I mean, I live alone in the East. And sometimes I'm looking for someone that I want to go out. The person will just sit down, don't go anywhere. Because the freedom is too much. Do you understand what I mean? I mean, I can just wake up and go anywhere. If I don't have that if I'm not cultured, if I'm not trained, if I'm not disciplined, that's the word I'm looking for. If I don't have that discipline, I can go off and totally. I've seen people. A lady was telling me how her husband started doing drugs in 2018. They got married in 2016, and because he traveled to another city to work, apparently that's where he got exposed to drugs. And this guy, as of this year, he has stopped going to work. He's not. I'm not talking of small drugs. He's
Wow.
doing cocaine, and adults at 34. He is
Wow.
a cocaine addict. He did not start it as a teenager. He started it in 2018 just because he traveled to another city. He was posted. His office posted him. He's working with a financial institution, so they posted him to another city. And he got there, apparently mixed up with wrong friends. As an adult, he got addicted. So the thing there is, you need this control. You need this thing. Your parents are telling you, sit here. Please sit. When you get to that place where you're going to enter university and you have your 24 hours, you have all the days to be free and gallivant and do a manner of things. If you don't allow them to do it now that they are, you're going to be in trouble with time. If you don't have this control, if you don't have these people checkmating you and telling you do this by this time and you're not following through, you'll be like the bastard. They say a bastard that doesn't have anybody to direct them. And if you care is not taking, you get in trouble. So I always advise them, dude, that's what, you can't, they say you can choose your friends, you can't choose your family. You can't. I grew up with a very difficult father. But today, I remember I posted this thing sometime and, 2020, I think 2018, was it 2018 or 2019? I won an award in Ghana. And I went to see my father, and my father looked at me. My mom was joking and saying, do you remember you were so hard on her? My mom mentioned, I'm trying to cut the short. So my mother was laughing and said, do you know you were so hard on her? There was a time I did something, my father beat me so hard and poured water on the passage and asked me to sleep on that water till morning. Yes, it was that strict. It was that bad. My father beat me black and blue, poured water in this thing. And I think that was where my brain started resetting. If not, I would have lost it as a teenager. So when my mom said all those things, reminded me, my father looked at me and said, yes, I'm the one that did that. Who is the one that just came back from Ghana and she won an award, 35 under 35, all over Africa? I said, me. Who is the special advisor to the governor? I said, me. Who is this? Started counting everything. Who is responsible? Who is at 30 what? You are with children, with a blessed home. Who is it? I said, me. He said, just see what we will never understand why our parents are doing what they are doing. And today, I appreciate my father for being that straight. If not, I would have been very low. I wouldn't have been anti-Chichi. So I tell teenagers, that's the gift God has given you. Appreciate it.
Appreciate it. Thank you so much, Auntie Chichi. Thank you for, sharing such profound wisdom, with us today. And I like how you balanced it to say that for parents, there's the phase of evolving and getting better. And also for teenagers, there's that need to also understand and just appreciate what you have now and make the most of it. Thank you so much. Thank you everyone that has joined us. And for our audience, it's been wonderful, having you listen to this show today. Please don't forget to invite your friends to listen to this episode and just subscribe and share with your network. We're really, really happy to, bring you on these episodes and just share from different experts and even teenagers like yourself and young people like yourself. We're very happy to bring them on board so that we can learn from one another. Thank you so much, everyone that has joined us today. Thank you for joining us on today's episode. I hope you learned a thing or two. Please feel free to send in your questions and experiences to my DM on Instagram or as an email to conversationswithcochit@gmail.com. Also, don't forget to hit the subscribe button, like, and share with your friends. See you on the next episode. Bye.